Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of this series where I am building a T-34 76 medium tank from the scale model manufacturer Zvezda. I hope that you enjoyed that little feature at the beginning of the episode. Let's jump straight into the build. I start off by clipping the upper hull of the tank off the sprue. I'm using God Hand PN 125 nippers. I've used a few different brands in the past, but God Hand are consistently the best. I recommend them highly. It's important to clean up your model from the sprue connectors. This helps ensure a flatter, cleaner surface for things like sanding later on. Here I'm removing some plate from the sprue. This plate, when fixed to the model, will help the rear armour sit flush on the back side of the tank. There are a few methods and tools you can use to help clean up your models. Here I'm using a dull scalpel blade and I'm just dragging it along the sides of the upper hull to remove some leftover flashing. Flashing is an artifact left over on the model from the moulding process. It's important to remove this flashing because if left on, you'll get to the painting stage of the model, and when you're painting highlights, the raised surface of the flashing may warp the effect of the paint job that you're trying to achieve, and this will sort of break the illusion of the scale model, something that we're not trying to do. I have a few of these very fine grit sandpaper blocks. These are actually like sponges, so when I'm sanding a contour, they conform to the shape of the thing I'm sanding. Very handy. I remove both the exhaust pipe covers and the pipes themselves from the sprue, and just clean up a few noticeable flashing points. Flashing is also known as mould lines. So after the two pieces are glued together, this is how they look. Pretty neat little detail on these parts. Now moving on to removing the wheels and the wheel hubs from the sprue. I've only ever made one tank before this. It was a Tamiya kit, and the contrast in cleanup in both these kits is very clear. This kit required a lot of cleanup and required a lot of putty filling and sculpting to make the parts fit. You'll see what I mean later on. I'm going to try and have a little history featurette at the start of my videos for each of the tanks I build on this channel. It's important to include some information about the vehicle because sometimes when we watch videos on YouTube, we may forget that this is actually a period of human history that did exist. It happened, and the people inside of these tanks were people. Furthermore, the featurette will serve to provide a little insight into the tank, and maybe the battles they fought in. Just keep in mind that I'm no historian, I'm just a scale model nuffy on YouTube, but I will strive to provide any sources for the information that I provide. I like to keep my parts in disposable cups. This helps me to keep each part in its place and helps me track my build. Here I've removed the back plate from the sprue and I'm just cleaning this part up. I apologise about the camera work. No real excuse except for the fact that this is the first time I'm shooting in this position at my desk. I'll work on this for the next part. I attached the two exhaust pipes to the back plate and just run a bead of thin cement along the outside edges. This will help to meld the two parts together. Now I'm removing the lower hull of the tank from the sprue and cleaning it up. The model already has some very nicely sculpted weld beads on some of the joins. I saw a technique that you can do to accentuate this feature. What you do is you scale the surface of the weld bead with the tip of your hobby knife, making little lines. Once this is done, you run a small amount of thin cement across the weld to take some of the roughness of your scratches away. The end result is subtle, but a more detailed looking weld. Now I'm removing the driver's hatch from the sprue and cleaning this up. And that's where I'm going to end this video. Tune in next week for the next installment of the build. Type in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.